be able to understand the text, synthesize the text, learn more vocabulary about the text. I'm just saying synthesize يعني you process the text in a way that seems a little bit more comprehensible. Now, starting from essay number 1, let's go through some of the content of this essay and see what you have read and what you understood. Let's start from subconscious behaviors that are keeping you from having the life you want. That's essay number 1. Can you tell me what you understood from this essay?
Actually, it's hard to explain what I understood from this essay because there's many words I haven't read it before. Even if I understood something, it's hard to explain because, you know, I'm a beginner of something like this. But I think if I highlighted the words I don't know what's meaning, I believe if I understand what they are meaning, I can explain many things, because I read until now 10 essays, and I found these kind of words تتكرر repeated repeated in every essays. So I found myself just wasting time by reading essays, and the same hard words, it's repeated essay by essays.
Why do you think you're wasting your time? These repeated words are not from the same author.
I'm wasting the essays because the word I don't know what's it meaning. It's repeated essay by essays. So if I like as example, if I knew what it's meaning, maybe I can maybe from the essay 5 as example, maybe I don't need to highlight more words because they're repeated as it.
I understand that. What makes you not highlight and learn the meaning of these words?
Say again?
What makes you not highlight and learn these words so you do not highlight them again and again and again?
No, I highlight different word.
Okay, give me an example of a word that you highlighted in the essay.
Like I will there's a lot, but I will give you the words who are repeated many times. They like
be very
monoculture.
Monoculture. That's in line number 1 of the article number 1. This word means one culture. It's from the word mono. So mono means one. Mono means one. Mono means one. And you know this word because
culture, yeah, I know what's meaning.
Yes. So there are words like bi, for example, bicycle, which means 2. Mono means 1. So the word mono means 1. So every generation, let's listen here. Every generation has a monoculture of sorts, a governing pattern or system of beliefs that people unconsciously accept as truth. It is easy to identify the monoculture of Germany in the 1930s or American in 1776. It's clear what people at those times in those places accepted to be good and true, even when in reality that was certainly not always the case. So first of all, we need to do more than one type of reading. We need first of all to read to understand the general idea. And then we need to read to understand the words, because we are not passive readers. We are active readers. And because we are active readers, the only purpose of me giving you this book to read is because there are more than one writer who wrote this book. All of them are going to use different kind of vocabulary. Most of the vocabulary that they are going to use are active, new, modern, updated vocabulary of English. Because of that, it is going to be a great chance for us to learn different kind of vocabulary from different kind of people while reading the same book. If I give you 10 books to read for 10 authors, you're not going to be able to read that amount of quantity, and you are not going to understand the purpose of reading, and you don't have enough time for that. What I am asking you is to read these 2 pages essay, and for every single one of these essays, we have the privilege, we have the privilege of learning new vocabulary. So when you highlight the word, you have to find the meaning. And after you find the meaning, you learn the vocabulary. Why? Because sometime in the future, you're going to take the test again, and you are not going to face the same problem when you read. The major problem with reading is not understanding what you are reading. And the reason why you do not understand what you are reading is because you do not know the vocabulary, or you do not know enough vocabulary. And the only reason you do not know enough vocabulary is because you don't read enough. So in order to give you medicine for this kind of issue or this kind of case, or to prescribe a solution to it, we need to propose a kind of reading that helps you improve your reading. Now, I have read so many books, and the majority of people who say or give their recommendation about reading, they say very simple: start reading what you understand and then scale it up, raise the bar. We have to raise the bar of reading. So what we are doing right now, we're pretty much doing the same thing. We're just trying to develop a habit for your reading, so you do not have difficulty when you read the text again next time. Are we clear?
You said I have to read and just highlight the new word. I don't know what it's meaning.
There are two steps. There are 2 steps. Step number 1. There are 2 steps. Step number 1, you have to read what I have given to you.
I read.
Okay. Step number 2, very simple again. Step number 2, you highlight the words that you do not know. When you highlight the words you do not know, the next thing you do is very simply go and check the meaning of these words. When you check the meaning of these words, I'm just trying here to find where the audio here, because it's not showing.
How to check? By using dictionary or what? You
can use Google Translate. You can use any sort of tool to help you understand the meaning of this word. And you can only understand the meaning from understanding the word and the other words that are similar in meaning. So for example, if I am looking for monoculture, and I go to dictionary, I will not find what the meaning of monoculture is because it's two words. What I need to understand is the word culture and the word mono. When I understand these two words, it's going to help you so much with understanding the general meaning of the word. And in this case, you're good to go. Do you see what I mean? Hello?
اوكي فهمتك، بس المشكله هسه انا 10 مقاطع قريت وكلها على انا لين ما قلت لي ايش تسوي البدايه، على بالي بس قلت لي بس اشر. هسه انا بس مأشر ارجع عليهم مره ثانيه.
We can read them second time because they are very useful for your self-development. And there are two reasons why we are reading this. We are learning vocabulary that we don't know from different authors. Okay, so let me give you this example. I want to understand how English is used in academic text. أريد أفهم كيف هذا اللغة مستخدمة في النص الأكاديمي. فإذا أروح على شخص واحد وأقرأ الكتابات مالته، ممكن ما راح ينطيني فكرة عن كل الكتاب، لأن كل كاتب عنده مصطلحات محددة يستخدمهم، حتى لو نوعا ما مشابهة للغة الإنجليزية العامة، لكن ما راح يكون بنفس الكفاءة مال أنه أنت تشوف 101 مقالة مكتوبة بأكثر من 50 مؤلف وكلهم يستخدمون لغة إنجليزية مختلفة، مو مختلفة جذريا، لكن نوعية المصطلحات اللي يستخدموها مختلفة. فبالتالي هذا راح يمكنك من الاطلاع على عينة وشريحة أكبر من الكتاب، بحيث من تيجي تقرأ ما تقرأ مادة بعيدة عن الموضوع اللي أنت مهتم به. راح تسأل سؤال، زين أنت ليش ما تنطيني passages من الآيلتس؟ السبب بسيط جدا، هو أنه القطع مالت الآيلتس هي قطع جافة، ما تنطي joy أو متعة بالقراءة، ما بيها pleasure مثل البليجر اللي موجود في هذا الكتاب. رغم أنه المصطلحات تقريبا متشابهة من ناحية complexity أو من ناحية التعقيد، لكن قطع الآيلتس ممكن تسبب إحباط للشخص، لأنه شوية قطع جافة، مواضيعها مو مواضيع اجتماعية عامة، مواضيع محددة، مثلا أنواع الصخور، مثلا أنواع الطيور الداجنة، مثلا أنواع الديناصورات. فهذه معلومات احنا في غنى عنها حاليا، لكن الهدف الرئيسي من هذه المقالة هو أولا تتعلم مفردات جديدة وتخليهم بنوت بوك حتى تراجعهم، لأن هذه مفردات هي مفردات نشطة، ولأنها مفردات نشطة فهي مفردات قد ترد في وقت محدد في الآيلتس. الموضوع
كلش هواي، 10 مقالات جاي تتكرر بشكل هائل يعني بقسم منهم.
إذا عندك هذني لازم تراجعهم. إذا النقطة الثانية هو تعويد نفسك على القراءة، إنه قراءة يعني ماكو فد طريقة محددة يعني ننصح بها التطوير قراءته، غير أنه أنت تختار مواد أنت مهتم بقراءتها، سواء مواد عسكرية، مواد اجتماعية، مواد لها علاقة بالتكنولوجي. But the point is that you have to develop simplistic approach to reading. How you do that is related to the kind of choices that you make. So everything in life is about the choices that you make. You're poor because your choices are poor. You're rich because your choices are rich. You're a bad reader because your choices are bad, or there are no choices in your case because you don't read. So how do we overcome this kind of dilemma? ترجمني. How do we overcome this kind of dilemma? شنو معناها؟
ما أعرف.
شلون نتجاوز هذه المعضلة؟ How do we overcome this dilemma? Dilemma معضلة. How do we overcome this dilemma? We develop a style for reading. And this style is going to help us improve our reading. Now, there are so many recommendations I can refer to you. I can show you here This is my YouTube. On YouTube, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's not that quite dark. 1 second. Okay, give me 1 second. It's very dark, but what let me just send you a screenshot of what I am showing you here. So I drive to Baghdad every day around 2 hours to go to Baghdad to my work. I spend 2 hours on this on the road. Now, part of these 2 hours, I listen to audiobooks, the books that a narrator reads while I'm driving. It helps to some level. For example,
of happiness enjoyed by civilized men. It was discovered that a person becomes neurotic because he cannot tolerate the amount of frustration which society imposes on him in the service of its cultural ideals.
Now, your problem is that there are so many things that do not make you focus. Your problem is not with reading per se. Your problem is with the other sources that do not make you read in a very simple and focused manner. And this is a big problem, because if you are not focused on reading, you are not going to read in a way that enable you to, how do we say it? Enable you in a way to actively use the words later on in your speech or in your reading. And that is a big problem, because if we do not do that, it's just going to not help us improve our reading. Now, if you think that what I am reading right now is not going to help me understand what I am reading better, then you have to stop reading it and choose another source that makes you able to understand the text and interact with the text. And that happens all the time when you choose the right materials for your training. It helps you so much when we specifically choose materials for our joy. I'll give you an example here. I like to read about technology. If I don't read about technology and shift to read about social science, I am not going to interact on the same level with this kind of reading. So what I decide to do every time, let me just see here. Every time I start choosing something to read, I decide, why am I reading this? I am going to read it because I like to improve my vocabulary, or I'm going to read it because I need to, do you hear something in the back, like noise or something? Okay.
No.
So I decide to read it because I need to learn vocabulary. That is going to give you more focus on word choice. I need to read because I need to do some self-enrichment. يعني تغذية ذاتية أو تحسين المهارات الذاتية, self-development. So I do this kind of reading. This kind of reading that you see here is very simple, not that quite complicated, but the issue is because we are starting from a point. I mean, you didn't read a lot when you were a child, and that's a big problem. You started reading late in your life. So what we need to do is to catch up with a lot of reading that that makes you susceptible to accept and learn new vocabulary. Otherwise, it's really difficult to force some sort of reading habit on you. And this is the major struggle that we have with a lot of learners. It's really hard to do reading enforcement or to conduct reading enforcement techniques or habits or behavior adjustment for reading and enforcement. It's not that quite easy because I cannot coerce you. Coerce يعني أجبرك. C-O-erse, E-R-C-E. I cannot coerce you to read unless you like it. So what do we learn from this chat? What did you learn? What's the purpose of me assigning you to read this book?
It's helping me to improve my skill in reading and learning new vocabularies and new words.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a new way to improve my language by highlighting the new word, and then I will searching on it in the Google Translate or any kind of dictionary, and try to write it in my notebook and read it again.
Okay. Now let's have a look here at this sample. Since we have talked about monoculture, go to paragraph 2 of the book.
Okay.
You feeling sleepy right now because you feel bored?
No.
Okay. See here.
7kh rem flip. 7k.
Let's see here. What's going on? 1 second. Can you just read it?
Okay. The objectivity required to see that effects of present monoculture is very difficult to develop. Once you have so deeply accepted an idea as truth.
So deeply accepted.
Deeply, okay.
Now, when you're reading, slow down, because you're reading to understand, not reading to inform.
Okay.
There is a difference. Are you reading to me or are you reading to understand?
To understand, of course.
So if you're reading to understand, you have to slow down, because if you speak faster, what you're reading, your brain is not going to process vocabulary in the same speed. Okay.
Okay.
Start again.
The objectivity required to see the effects of present monoculture is very difficult to develop. Once you have so deeply accepted an idea as truth, it doesn't register as culture or subjective anymore. So much of our inner turmoil is the result of conducting a life we don't inherently desire, only because we have accepted an inner narrative of normal and ideal without ever realizing. The fundamentals of any given monoculture tend to surround what we should be living for: nation, religion, self. And there are a number of ways in which our current system has us shooting ourselves in the feet as we try to step forward. Here, of the most pervasive.
So there are two things that we have learned from this paragraph. First, shooting yourself in the feet. This is a very common expression in English, and it means you're just hurting yourself.
Okay.
And the second one is the word pervasive, which means very common. Now, let me ask you, if this word is not familiar to you, is it because it's a new word in English, or because you don't read, you don't know it?
No, because I don't know it, of course.
No. What happens in IELTS is that they are going to bring this word inside the reading, and then in the options, in the questions, they will say very common. But they don't mention the word common in the text. They mention the word pervasive. So pervasive is a word that means something that is common, something that is widespread somewhere. So the word is pervasive. What you need to do is very simply what you need to do is just highlight this word, write the meaning, whether that's in English or in Arabic, and then learn it, add it to a small notebook so you can review it on a daily basis. By the end of reading and finishing the book, you would have achieved learning at least maybe 1,000 or 2,000 new expressions in English. That's a ton of vocabulary that will help you when you take the reading test again, where you don't have to just sit back and say, well, I feel bad because the reading was difficult. No. Learning from here is going to make you respond so actively next time you take the test. And that is what we are looking for. Now, what I want you to do, very simple thing, continue reading, highlight the vocabulary, and when we meet in our next meeting, we're just going to gradually develop some team reading. So we read each one of the paragraphs, we discuss the vocabulary, we discuss the words, and then we move on to the next essay. I have one simple goal: to let you finish reading a whole book. This is a big achievement because you are not reading enough, and you are not reading for multiple sources to help you become immune عندك مناعة against difficult text. So we're trying this simple method, giving you a book that has collection of essays. Every essay has a different author, and then building on reading and analyzing the main vocabulary will eventually help you improve your reading and prior to taking the next IELTS test. So you don't get 3.5 anymore.
بس انا شو اسوي يعني اكمل قراءه بالفرق للاسي رقم 11 واعلم له.
Next time we are going to meet, we will review essay 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What I want you to do, read essay 11 to essay 25. Try to cover as much of these readings from essay 11 to essay 25. And then we will be one step behind your reading. So you are in essay 11, we are discussing essay 2 and 3 and 4. Next time, we are going to finish essay number 1, check the vocabulary and what they're meaning, and then we move to the psychology of daily routine, which is essay number 2.
يعني هسه انا اكمل قراءه بس
11 to 25.
ال1 وال2 لازم بالمعنى كامل كلها حفظه وتعال، هذا اللي علمته بالبرتقالي، مو هيك شيء؟
Very much what you have to do now is this: highlight, learn vocabulary, and every time I read a passage, قطعة, I will ask you, what does it mean? Because I want you to read to learn, not to read to tell me that you are able to read. That's okay. In a very simple way. Now, on this point, any questions?
For now, no, I don't have any question.
When can we meet our next time?